Hey guys, this is Trace. I was just going to make another vlog entry here. Today I went from Clear Lake to Houston over in the Bel Air area. Ended up being about 26 miles, a little bit like 2 miles further than what I thought it was going to be, which is fine. Um, did push myself a little bit today. It was definitely more of a difficult ride compared to some of the other things I've done already. Um, but that's a good thing to kind of see where my limit's at. I was riding for probably about 2.5 hours with some breaks in between and everything. But it's good for me to kind of be able to gauge, how much I actually want to ride at one time. Maybe I can do like an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half in the evening whenever I'm doing a long stretch. Um, but I got here all right. Everything is good. I actually went to a yoga class as well tonight, which was a little bit more intense because I was already pretty worn out and sore from the bike ride itself. But it was really good. It wasn't hot yoga, but it was pretty close. It was a little bit warmer in there than like air conditioning. It was probably about 80 degrees, but that was good. It's nice to kind of go and do some yoga again, kind of train up a little bit differently. But I kind of want to talk a minute about finances. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, oh, how are you going to pay for this? How are you going to provide for yourself as you go? And I could, sit here and list out all the different things that I've thought about, as far as, doing Craigslist ads. There's a couple of apps out there that are kind of similar where you say, oh, I can do this gig or I can do that gig and they'll pay you. There's things like that. There's things where, wherever I'm at, whoever I'm with, I can say, hey, well, what can I do for you? Which I think that'll probably be a big factor as far as being able to provide for myself financially. But beyond all of that, it's just going to kind of be taking the opportunities, taking advantage of what's available to me. And I went and saw Lau yesterday, my Dow master, and the one thing that he had to say to me about the trip was, do me a favor. He said, try not to think about the trip in its entirety, but just to where you're at right then. Today you're in Houston, so just be in Houston. Maybe you'll be in Austin, just be in Austin, which is a good point. And it's something that I know I'm going to have to kind of work on, just being in the moment and being aware of what's going on. And that's really how I would notice the resources available to me and take advantage of those, which is kind of difficult for me. I tend to be a little bit of a planner. Oddly enough, I'm sitting here thinking about, oh, well, if I want to go to Russia, I have to get a visa, and that's tough, and that's a year away. But I really can't preoccupy myself with that. It's going to kind of drain me out. But if I'm able to just really take in what's going on around me, look for the opportunities, try and avail myself to other people and do whatever I can and not necessarily expect anything in return, I think that everything's just going to work out how it needs to anyways. I would say I'm not concerned about it, but I am. But I just keep saying I'm not concerned about it in an attempt to just promote that and manifest that as well. So that's kind of how the financial aspect of it's looking. I do have a little bit of money saved up still, so it's not an immediate issue. I do feel like once I actually start hitting the road, on Sunday I'll be leaving to go towards Austin. I haven't decided whether or not I want to kind of find a town halfway and stop there. But I'm kind of just leaving myself open. I think maybe tomorrow I might get on couch surfing and see if I can, get a connection over there and see, like in LaGrange or something, and see if I can find somebody to stay with for a couple days. I don't necessarily want to ride for 6 or 7 days right out the gate. I think that would be a little bit too much and push myself over the edge, which I don't want to do. I don't want to burn myself out while I'm riding. So I'll probably see if I can do that. If not, then I'll just kind of, like I said, it's just taking advantage of the opportunities. It's going to be a lot of networking. And another thing of it is that I realized that if I myself had, a nice house or a place for somebody else to stay, and I had money to do so, I would freely allow pretty much anybody to come in if they were traveling or whatever they needed, and if they were, I could see myself being a householder and allowing a traveler to come in and sending them off with some money, or sending, giving them some tasks to do so that they feel like they can earn it. Um, so the flip side to that is that I have to be open to that myself. I have to be open to somebody else giving me opportunities, giving me finances, giving me food, giving me a place to stay, which is kind of difficult for me. I have an issue with I feel like I'm a burden to other people. I don't want to put anybody out. Um, but a lot of that comes back to the value that I inherently have just for being me, for the things that I can do, for all the things that I bring to the table. And a lot of that whole premise is embedded into the couch surfing stuff, where people just want to have you around. They want to talk to you. They want to see what your adventures are about. They want to hear some other experiences. It's almost like they want to kind of live vicariously through you. Um, and if that's what I can bring to the table, and people feel like that it has enough value to them, then there's nothing wrong with that. I kind of have to branch off from the whole money system a little bit here, where I don't necessarily have to earn money. I don't necessarily have to earn anything the way that maybe I was taught that I have to, or that I may still believe that I have to. So a lot of it's just being in the moment, being here, being present, paying attention to what's going on, and like I said, just avail myself to the resources around me. But I will catch up with you guys here in a couple days. Probably once I'm out on the road headed towards Austin, I'll be camping, out there somewhere. But I will catch you guys then. Have a good one.